We're a team, aren't we?
Mostly focused on Fantasy Caprice,
Okay.
the multi-piece and improvising.
Okay. And that sounds perfect.
I think it's that E2 and C.
Mm-hmm. Pretty tough.
Yeah, pretty tough and still not perfect.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It
Well, that's
sounded
fine.
good
We can
this
focus on
morning.
Say it again.
For E2 and C sounded very good this morning.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, we'll hit all the other ones first and then see if we have time to hear that one. But let's just hear your major scales right here. And see if you can just go straight down the line. I want you to work on getting a big, full sound. I want you to fill the room with the sound from your violin. Big, long goes, really confident. Good, all right. I like the long bows you're giving me there and the big sound you're getting. You're very confident. Very good job. Now, if I turned the stand around and asked you to play any of those, do you think you have them memorized? Okay, what if I just asked you like, so the D scale, how many sharps does it have? Close. 2. Or the F scale, what notes are in the key signature of the F scale?
E flat,
B flat, and everything else is naturals. How about the A scale?
4 sharps.
Close, really, really close. A major has 3 sharps. It was the one you played here at the bottom. Okay, that's pretty good. If you can get to where you can memorize and know these backward and forward, that G scale equals this many sharps, A scale equals this, that will be super helpful for you anytime you want to warm up or just anytime you look at a key signature. Because if you can look at that key signature and say, okay, there's 3 sharps here, that means my fingers are going to follow the pattern of the scale of the A scale. Or if my fingers, that has 2 flats, means my fingers are going to follow the pattern of the B flat scale. So that's what's really helpful, because you can look at that key signature and it automatically tells you what pattern of whole steps and half steps your fingers follow. And that's where scales come in, because by practicing the scales, they help you find those whole steps and half steps, so that when you come to melodies in that key, it's a lot easier. So, good work on your scales. Do you have a scale memorized that includes some shifting in it? No? All right. Then let's come over here in your book. Let's do this. See if you can do a D scale, a 2-octave D scale, which means you're going to go up to the 4th finger in 3rd position. So when you get to this D, just go up to 3rd position, hit that high D, and come back down. And you can shift wherever you like. Well, actually, you know what? Why don't you start off in 3rd? Do the whole scale in 3rd position. So start on D here. D is going to be on your 2nd finger. like your nails, but okay, those are cute. You've got that one a different color. Okay, all right. So do you feel warmed up enough to try the Fantasy Caprice, or do you want to wait and do that in a few minutes? Let's hold off on that one because I wouldn't want to just jump into this right now myself without a good thorough warm up. Let's come and let's look at the Vivaldi. Can we do that? So, how's practice on this one going?
Pretty good. It's just this last part. For some reason, I keep wanting to play a B flat and an F sharp.
Yeah, probably because you had some B flats and F sharps throughout here. This song is kind of weird in that it's in A minor, but they throw in tons of sharps and flats here and there. Even though technically the key signature says there's none. So that's where my theory about being able to look at the key signature and knowing your half steps and whole steps kind of falls to pieces because there's always those accidentals that you can't really plan for. Yeah, okay. Well, why don't you try this one from the beginning for me? Just give it your best shot. We're still working on kind of warming up, so give it big, full bows. Don't feel like you have to take it super fast.
I haven't been going like a leg room.
Okay, that's all right. I know that's a really hard spot to stop, isn't it? Because it seems like it should go on, but that was the first page, so. All right, seeing a lot of good things in here, Kate. A lot of good counting. You're getting those 16th notes and then combinations of 8ths and 16ths really nicely. A lot of good things as far as like your sharps. You're nailing all those like strange key sharps and stuff. So very good work on this one. Tell me, Kate, when was the last time you were really passionate about something? Or like really emphatically had a strong opinion and maybe it clashed with someone else's? Can you recall that time? That's good. Yeah. So, this piece is really emphatic. And to play it with that kind of emphasis, it's good to think back to when you were really passionate about something, and sometimes it's something silly, and it's like a fight in the family between like where you should go for dinner. If you're gonna go out and eat, like what restaurant? And somebody really doesn't want, or really does want this restaurant or that restaurant. Or maybe it's something between you and your parents, or I know with me and my siblings, sometimes I just really had a strong emotion. And right as Christians, so we want to like subdue that, and we want to, bring that under, self-control and under, Holy Spirit. But this piece really expresses a strong emotion. And so to be able to play it, it's good to think of some time when you had a really strong emotion. So this piece is not casual, it's not like easygoing, it's really passionate. And then you have this other spots that are a little bit more subdued. Whoops. And you started off and you did a great job with full bows, and I could tell you were trying to give it a lot more bow, but it wasn't quite as biting as it could have been. And that's kind of the tone that we're looking for from this piece. So, I know it's going to push you out of your comfort zone, but that's part of the reason I chose this piece, because I thought it would be good for you to push you outside of your kind of conservative playing, normal kind of, mezzo forte or something, to really push you to like strong accents, really loud volume, really big bows. So, like you, just as far as the style is concerned, to really think of this and really bring out a lot of accents and a lot of that passion. As far as the technical things, you did a good job on your trills, but you got slightly behind the beat. Like you were trilling just a tad bit too long. So the trills are a little bit hard just because you're only trilling an eighth note. So it should sound like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and out. Like you only have a time to go from F to G like a couple times in there, 2 or 3. So try that spot for me one time and tap your foot and make sure you're counting 4 and a 1. Make sure that 4 doesn't get elongated. Let's just do those 2 measures right there where you have the trills. 1 and 2 and 3 and go. Good, that was dead on. Okay, very good job there. Another thing I noticed was that occasionally when you had a bunch of 16ths and then you would go to 8th notes, you were kind of rushing the 8th notes just because you had been feeling the 16ths, and it was like, oh my goodness, the 8th notes felt too slow and like you were trying to rush them. And that happens to all of us. So make sure that you're really, with all these kind of tough rhythmic parts, make sure you're tapping your foot or internalizing that rhythm somehow so that an 8th note is always double a 16th note. So take it again, and let's actually focus on the second half here. Can we start right here where it says piano? And I know it says piano, and then you're going to come forte here. But even when it says piano, make sure it has a lot of passion. Like think of it as being a very subdued passion. All right. So that means there's a lot of still bite underneath it, but it's kind of really subdued in piano. So start right here for me, and I want you to pay close attention to the rhythm as we do the second half. 1, 2, and ready, go. 1, 2, 3. I'm going slower than that. 3 and yeah, it's okay. Start again. Don't focus so much on playing soft. If it's mezzo forte, it's okay. Watch out for that one right there. When we have a dotted quarter, the dotted quarter feels like it's forever long because we've just been playing 8ths and 16ths. So it should be 3, Yeah, let's count this out right here. Can we start at the piano and just count it out with me? So saying the beats out loud. So we're starting on 3, ready, go. 3, da, 4, da, 1, and 3, and 4, and a 1, and 3, and 4, and a 1, and 3, and 1, and 3, and 1, the 2E, and a 3E, and a 4E, and a 1E, and a 2E, and a 3E, and a 4E, and a. Good, yeah. Now, did you notice how very long these felt? 1, and 3, and 1. Like, so easy, like, you know, kid stuff almost. But at the tempo we were going, that would be the accurate way to count that right there. So let's do that one more time. Let's do this pickup right here. Make sure we're holding out things that are supposed to be long too. So starting on beat 3. So 1 and 2. And 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 3, 4. 2, 4. 2, 3, 4. Right, so we go from being like really like easy, like this is kid stuff, it almost makes your brain like turn off, like this is so easy. 1 and 3 and then 1E and a 2E and a 3E and you really have to subdivide right there. So let's do those two measures getting into that. So starting here at 28, so still keeping it slow, but remember you just have to be ready for that. And it goes from being soft to now suddenly being loud. Alright, goes to being really intense again. So just be prepared for that. So let's do 28 again. So 3 and go. And 4, 2, 4. Good. All right. Very nice. All right. Yeah, that was great that time, Katie. Very nicely done. I want to draw your attention to this spot right here, 21 and 22. What's it seem like the music is saying to you?
Sure.
Whatever the music is saying, it's repeating it, isn't it? Play these two measures one time and see if you notice a repeating phrase. You hear that? Whatever it's saying it again, and saying it a third time. It's emphatic. So we need to try and portray that and communicate that emphasis in our playing. So if somebody repeats something 2 times or 3 times, as in this instance, what are they doing each time they say it? Usually. Like if your mom says, "Come on, Katie, let's go," and you don't come. And then she says, "Come on, Katie, let's go." What'd she do? Raises the pitch, raises the intensity, right? And then if she has to say it a 3rd time, it's almost like a threat, like, you better come right now, right? Yeah? I'm sure you don't get spankings or anything. Sweet as you are and everything, but I bet when you were little, maybe you did. Yeah? Remember, I don't know if your parents did the 1st warning or the 2nd warning or something like that. I know some parents do.